Hey guys, welcome back to My Unpopular Opinion. I wanted to get some quick commentary in about the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15 and the reported low ratings that they've been having thus far. I feel like we've all kind of seen that coming. Well, I know I saw that coming. If you haven't seen my last video, I gave some reasons as to why I think that the season, has been kind of boring thus far. But as we can see, it's not just me or a few people. It's really resonating with all of the viewers and all in the Bravo universe, Bravoverse or whatever, that Real Housewives of Atlanta has had a fall from grace. It's unfortunate, but we know why. It's the casting. And then, as I stated in my previous video about this, it's the alliance that Kandi, Kenya, and then Cynthia, but she, is, I guess, making an appearance this season, which is not needed. But the alliance that they created seasons and seasons ago has ruined the show now. The reality TV guru on Twitter, as well as some other blog pages and reality TV pages, also posted some inside information from some inside sources, apparently, that, Bravo is apparently not pleased, and the producers are not pleased with the season so far. They're not pleased with the alliances, and that they are thinking about, for next season, possibly not having Kenya and Kandi return. Now, this is just alleged. We don't know if it's true or not. I do think that the Kandi one may be true, and if they're doing that, they may be the best decision to make. So they're also alleging that if the ratings continue to be low, that Real Housewives of Atlanta will have to go on a pause the same way RHOA went on a pause before its demise, before and after, but because they've had a lot going on over at RHOA, and Real Housewives of Atlanta has fallen from grace the same way. And it's simple things that can be changed that can make the show better, but because they're banking on Kandi so much, and Kandi has given the network so many ultimatums and she's formed alliances to create the outcome that she wants, the show is going downhill because the network and Andy have allowed her to do that. What I believe, and this is in my unpopular opinion, I believe that because of everything that was going on with Nene Leakes, the main chick, okay, they wanted to make it seem like, okay, well, Nene's out the door. Nene's complaining about the network being this, that, and the third. But we have Kandi. They're using Kandi as a pawn. It's like they're using each other. Kandi's not really privy to the fact that the network just used her as a pawn to make it seem like, see, look, we do support black women. Nene's, to discredit Nene. And guys, don't forget, Kandi even went on an interview when Nene was going through the lawsuit, and she discredited another black woman who was on this show and network before Kandi was. She discredited Nene and said, well, I can't imagine, the network, well, you saying something negative about the network when the network is your claim to fame and has done so much for you. That was not her place to do as a black woman. As a black woman, you should either stay silent, but you never diminish the claims of another black woman, especially when Nene is not one to lie. And I wouldn't be surprised if the network had offered Kandi some side money or some extra money, because the networks allegedly, they do that with their talent sometimes to make something sway the way they need it to go. They will offer you money, or to get a storyline going. Like, I know on another network, I won't say the name, some of the stars or former stars have come out and talked about getting offered money to hit somebody, or getting offered money to bring up this issue, extra money that they end up getting. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just offer Kandi money, because she's all about money. That's all she cares about. If they just offer her some side money to discredit Nene during that lawsuit time. And it was working, because you guys, being the gullible sheeps that a lot of you are, just believe anything Kandi says and don't see through her acts. Now, because of all the things that she's done with the network, forming that alliance with Kenya, and Kenya has done the same thing with Kandi. They both have this alliance. The show is ruined because of Kenya and all the stuff they were doing. Portia doesn't want to be on the show. She got tired of it. Nene ended up leaving, and then they tried to act like somebody like Kandi or Kenya could live up to the expectations of Nene Leakes. No. Nene is entertaining. Kandi has been called boring forever, but still gets to stay on the show somehow. And of course, Phaedra couldn't be on the show, as we stated before, because Kandi gave the network an ultimatum, and she's been open about that, saying that she told them if they brought Phaedra back in any capacity, that she would be done with it completely, which, you know, during that time where they're dealing with the Nene stuff, they didn't want to lose Kandi because they want to use her as like the token black girl, her and Kenya. And they've been, you know, going along with it because they've been benefiting from it financially. But now look at the legacy of RHOA going downhill because of it. And Andy is allowing it. For some reason, Andy always picks the wrong people to stay. And then this is why the top shows end up going downhill. Real Housewives of New York was one of the top. It was good back then with Bethany and all those girls. Andy, of course, he starts making the wrong decisions, him and the network, because it's not just him, but him and the network start making the wrong decisions. Now look what happened to Roni. And the same thing has happened to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I fear that it's going to keep happening all across the board in some of the other shows too. And I think they really need to stop babying some of these alliances and stop allowing the girls to produce the show and continue to produce it themselves and say, okay, well, this is who we're bringing on the show. It's either you don't want to do the show or you do. And if you don't, then we'll bring in the girls that do want to do it and aren't going to try to tell us who they will film with and things like that. That's the issue, giving the women too much power. So now the show is downhill. I also find it funny that even Kenya had said at some point in interviews that she was cool with Phaedra. I think they took photos together, that she would be willing for Phaedra to come back. And, you know, those two used to argue and fight on the show all the time. But I think Kenya knows that there are certain people, like, I think Kenya is even willing to work with Portia again. I just don't think Portia really wants to work with Kenya. But I think Kenya was okay with bringing Phaedra back. She was okay with bringing Portia back. And Kenya has even said positive stuff about Nene. And I think it's because deep down inside, Kenya knows the height of the show, whether she likes those girls personally or not. At the height of the show, she knows that it was good to have her and all those girls too, because it made for a good show. It's work. It's not your real life. You don't have to deal with them in your real everyday life. But at work, she knew what formula worked the best for Real Housewives of Atlanta. The only reason Kenya isn't saying anything now is because I think, for one, she doesn't want Kandi to be mad at her for wanting, you know, some of those girls back. And I think Kenya somehow has become like Kandi's puppet. It's like this current season, Kandi is like overlooking at Kenya like, are you going to say something? She got mad at Sonya like, oh, well, when they said this, what did you say? Well, Kandi, everything is not one-sided. You have sat there and let people talk about other people that you claim to be cool with too. Stop it. Kandi just wants to control everything and everybody. And she even does it with her group Escape. Y'all, I don't dislike Kandi. I like Kandi for the show. I want Kandi to be on the show. But I also liked when Kandi had to deal with difficult people that she did not like. That's what makes for a good show. Just like I said about Kenya. Whether Kenya likes Portia and Phaedra personally or not, that's irrelevant. But what she does know is they all make for a good show, so she's okay with them coming back. Kandi needs to do the same thing, or she needs to go and take all that money that you guys claim she has. She needs to take all that money and go put it into all her other ventures and let the girls who want to film and actually get into the nitty-gritty on the show, let them be on the show, and you take your money and go on and live your life. If, you know, that's what's so crazy. Everybody say, oh, Kandi got so much money. Kandi got so much money. Is that the only thing y'all like about Kandi? I would be insulted if I was her, because all y'all ever bring up is her alleged money, but none of y'all ever talk about any real characteristics that y'all actually like about her. Like, I would be wondering, do y'all like anything else about me besides my money? So in my opinion, one of the reasons the ratings are low so far is because of the alliance that Kandi put in place seasons ago. It's like a buildup effect. It probably was like okay a few seasons after that, but as the seasons progress and we are not getting the entertainment that we're used to getting from a lot of the previous cast members that were the most popular, it's like we're bored. You know, and granted, guys, we do have more episodes this season. You know, the seasons are pretty long. It's like 20-something episodes. So it could pick up a little bit, granted, you know, but it's still not going to give what we're really looking for. And that's because some changes needs to be made. And Kandi might need to go and some other people might need to come back. And that's just how I feel about it. I also feel like Marlo is getting unnecessary blame and hate, and it's kind of unnecessary and necessary at the same time, because I think Marlo understands the assignment of how reality TV works. I know y'all don't want to break the fourth wall, but when you do break the fourth wall, somebody has to be the antagonist. Somebody has to be the person that's like pushing people. You got to have somebody that's pushing like real emotion out of somebody. Marlo knew that Kenya used to be the one that was okay with playing the villain. You know, she was okay with it. The network also favors the villain too. So that's why you'll be like, oh, get rid of this person, get rid of this person. And they never get rid of the villain. They were doing that with Nene. Everybody was like, oh, Nene's the villain. What it is the network understands that somebody has to play the villain. You have to have the villain on there in order for it to like be interesting. So Nene played the villain for a long time. Kenya played the villain for a long time. And I think Kenya doesn't want to be the villain anymore, which is not good for the show. Kenya wants, after having her daughter and like trying to change her image, Kenya doesn't want to be the villain anymore. And so it's like, who's going to be the villain? So Marlo stepped in when they gave her peach. And I think that's what the network wanted her to do. Like, do what Kenya used to do, which is a perfect person. They're both Aquariuses. They both do the same stuff. Everything Marlo's doing that y'all are mad about, I said this in the previous video, everything Marlo's doing now that y'all are upset about, y'all praised Kenya for doing all these seasons. Marlo's just stepping into the shoes that Kenya doesn't want to be in anymore. So, and I don't like Big Nose Sheree, as Nene used to call her back in the day. I don't like Sheree. I think Sheree is dumb as a pail of rocks. But Sheree and Marlo, at least they're trying to be entertaining. At least they're trying to do crazy off the wall stuff that they're going to like to get y'all excited about something, because they know nobody else is doing nothing. Okay? Nobody else is doing anything. Marlo's just trying to get some real emotion out of the girls, and she's just playing that villain role. Sheree is just doing dumb stuff. She knows the stuff she's doing is dumb. She's just trying to like make up for the stuff that y'all aren't getting. So I don't know if Sheree should stay on the show. She really doesn't make any waves. Like, for her to be an OG, you know, she's not really doing anything. She doesn't entertain that much, but I see she's like kind of trying, but that's just to get people talking. I also wanted to throw in here that I actually like Drew as a housewife. I've liked her the entire time. You know, all last season, she was bullied, especially by Kandi, which was shocking. But Kandi has a tendency to do that too, because she did that to Eva Marcille as well, and she's done it to Drew, where she kind of like throws them under the bus on the show. Like, they were really bullying Drew about her business. They were bullying her about all kind of things. But I like Drew. I think she's strong. I think that Drew needs to bring out the feistiness. I know she wants to be nice and sweet and pleasant. Drew has everything else it takes to be a housewife, but she has to be more feisty, and she has to stand up for herself more and give more attitude. That's the only way she's gonna last. So I actually like Drew. I want them to keep her. I just want her to turn it up a notch and stop letting them try her. She will stand up for herself, but she has to learn to really read more. I don't know, like Nene used to say, maybe you need to get around the gays along, you know, not the gay that you had as your assistant, not that kind. Get around, you know, some good ones that don't act weird, and let them teach you how to read and everything. And maybe Drew can give more, you know, bad bitch and stuff like that. But she got to tap into that inner, you know, that inner bull. She's a Taurus too, so she needs to really tap into it. But I do like Drew. Sonya, I don't really know. I feel like the whole cast can kind of be changed. They could like keep Drew, keep Kenya, maybe keep Sonya, keep Marlo, bring back Phaedra, but we already know that's not going to happen, because Phaedra's going to be on a different show, allegedly, and then the network has issues with Nene. Portia doesn't want to come back, so we don't know what you guys can do at this point. But y'all, comment down below and let me know what you think about this, and what you think they should do to make the show more interesting, and what you think they will be doing the rest of this season. Do you think it'll pick up or what? Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. My channel's still very new. I still don't have everything set up yet, but once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I said I was going to go ahead and do an intro, outro, and some other things that might start going live, but I'm trying to reach that milestone. So if you're listening, watching, you like unpopular opinions, people who go against the grain and don't try to kiss everybody's butt, you're at the right place. Make sure you subscribe and comment down below and let me know what you think. And also be looking out for more of my videos, my commentary videos, because I have more to say about this particular topic in the future. Bye-bye.